Live from the Dunkin Latte Lounge.
What up, everyone? It is Garrett from Elvis Duran and the Z100 Morning Show. Welcome to the Dunkin Latte Lounge. Some of us colder than the others, as you can tell as you watch. We welcome Didi plus Ping to the Dunkin Latte Lounge. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good. How's it going?
Warmer than you, obviously. So the great thing about this is we connect people from all over the world, introducing new music, including yours. So before anything, let's just get the pink elephant out of the way. Where in the world are you right now?
At this very moment, I'm in Vancouver.
Hometown or just traveling around?
I just moved here, but my hometown's Calgary. So, and I was actually just there a few days ago.
All right. So let's start about your music too. Where did it all start for you? Because as an artist, would you consider yourself an artist or producer, a little bit of both, or?
I would consider myself a musician.
Well, then as a musician, where did it start for you to get to where you're at today? Was it the fact that you're listening to the music, you grew up around music? How did it start for you?
I definitely say it started when I was a kid. My parents forced me to learn piano at a young age. And
were you hesitant?
Oh yeah, I hated it.
I did too.
Yeah, it sucks. It's not cool. I was like 5 years old and my parents, especially my mother, forced me to learn piano. And it just wasn't a cool instrument, man, growing up. Like, I would have much rather, if I had to learn music, it would have been, drums or guitar or something. But I respected my mom's choice and I pushed through. And I think it wasn't until I was maybe 18, honestly, where I started to realize that this was something that I was incredibly grateful to have learned at such a young age, and this language of music to be taught. And now I love it, and obviously I'm very happy that she made me.
So, all right. So, and let's like take a step back too. So to get everybody caught up on the story, if you're not following along, Didi plus Ping, obviously there is meaning behind the name, about life, about your family, about you. So let's start with the name, how you grew from there, and then how you got into your genre of music from that too.
So Ping is my Chinese name, and Didi just means younger brother. And it's a reference to my younger brother. We both, this kind of music that I make is, I feel like, a bit more in line with the stuff that him and I would explore together, that kind of music. Because before I started doing stuff under Didi plus Ping, I made a lot of music before that, but it was I don't know, more on the experimental side, and a lot of like jazz and hip hop, weird electronic stuff. So this Didi plus Ping was kind of a type of a style of music that I was making to sort of reconnect with my family. I knew it'd be something that they would love. Yeah,
but that's like any artist too. Do you think, if think back of any of artists, even down to up to Elton John and anybody in the middle, that first sound that they ever created wasn't, you can ask them, probably wasn't their original sound. It's so it's like, it's kind of like a fine art. You got to find your groove and from there too. So with your music too, I mean, how would you? I hate to say to put it in a box or a lane, because it really isn't, like listening to it too, because you kind of have a feeling of a little bit of everything in there. You know what I mean? Like, so for you, like, how would you best describe, for someone meeting you for the first time or sitting down and streaming you for the first time, how would you say you describe your own music?
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, like sometimes it's helpful to simplify things into a box, even if it isn't necessarily 100% true. So if I had
very loose box, like you could leave the box in whenever you want. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Break the box as soon as I make it. If I had to, I would definitely put it under house. Probably like melodic house.
Right.
Flirts with deep house. Yeah, that's the way I would put it.
Now, do you have influences from very house-centric DJs and producers out there that you kind of gravitate to as a fan yourself? That'd be like, you know what, kind of have a little influence from here, kind of little influence from column A, a little influence from column C, and so on.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I would say my mixing style is hugely influenced by Christian Hurt, who is producer from Switzerland, and he's kind of behind a lot of the big major acts coming out of there, like EDX and Nora En Pure and those guys, those Helvetic nerds. I love his mixing style, just the way he introduces kick, the way he mixes kick drums and hi-hats and stuff like that. Compositionally, like in terms of instrumentation and like that kind of stuff, I probably get a lot of that influence from my mother. Growing up, she was in, she still is, she's in opera. So I was around a lot of that, like, I don't know, dramatic, epic orchestra.
Right.
Stuff.
The big build up.
Put a lot of that stuff in my music, that kind of, those instruments. So that's probably what I would say. Yeah.
Now, as a kid too, you already said that, you're a little hesitant on playing piano, and was it the same with opera too? Like, given your mom was around it and she was a part of it, but growing up as a kid, you're like, not for me. But now as you're older, you're like, you know what, I appreciate it a little bit more. You know what I mean? Definitely.
I'm not ashamed to admit that I was ashamed of.
I don't think you're the only one. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people would be the same way too, like just with anything in life, but especially
I listen to like heavy metal and screamo at certain points just to balance it out.
We all have our phases, you know what I mean? To each their own of it too. So how does something like opera play into your creation of music? Because out there too, given you can look at music and say, yes, there's build up and there's a crescendo and just like an opera, but for you, I mean, you literally are coming from it. So do you see yourself being influenced by opera when you're creating house EDM melodic type sounds?
Well, yeah, for sure. Like I said earlier, instrumentation wise, definitely. I think I'm just analyzing myself. I think
doing a deep dive on yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I grew up around those instruments, so I just want to put them in my songs. Like, I just love the sound of violins and flutes and stuff like that. Not to say that I don't have electronic elements in my songs, I do. But even thematically, like, yeah, I would say opera influences me thematically as well. Like, I love the dramatic, sweeping, big moments, kind of like opera, right. Kind of melodramatic.
Well, exactly, yeah. So for you too, like, so you create music, and where we're at in the world too, it's interesting because I equate it to the early days of Netflix, where you're on the bubble of something insane, where back in the day it was like, okay, got to make a song, got to press it, got to put it on CD and put it out there. From streaming to dropping it on SoundCloud, like, for you, what is your bread and butter? Like, do you have a secret equation of be like, you know what, I'm going SoundCloud this way, I'm going straight Instagram, I'm going, maybe there's something that I haven't even known about that you use to put your music out there that the most people get to listen to?
Oh God. Oh man, when it comes to sharing, that's like not my bread and butter. I would say, well, I think I enjoy sharing the most on SoundCloud.
Right.
Because from my experience with the user base, like, there's a lot of,
it seems to be more specific, like it's more niche. Like, if you're looking for a specific type sound, definitely. SoundCloud to me is like, that's where you go to find specifically what you're looking for, and you're not put in a specific genre. For sure. And I think even though it's pretty mainstream now, obviously, but even now still, it's got a lot of people are still hunting for new music on there. Right. Which I appreciate, obviously, for someone like me. And I'm sure there's a lot of people like that on the other communities like YouTube and Spotify and all that. But I don't think I've tapped into it quite as much as SoundCloud. So right now I would say SoundCloud's my brand. But I mean,
Yeah.
But as you're there, you know, there's many streaming services that are recognizing your music too, and
Yeah, for
saying,
sure.
you know, be like, let's be there, and let's support. So I mean, it's interesting watching where we're at right now, because in 6 months from now, there could be 9,000 other ways for you to produce some music.
Yeah.
Now, as an artist, and I find this interesting, just as an artist, a producer, a person who makes music. For you, you deal with many sounds, creating sounds, listening sounds. You're outside in nature right now, guaranteed a bird chirps, you could turn it into something melodic and turn it into something interesting. For you, what's that one piece of music creation, whether it be a piano, a snare drum, just an 808, whatever it is, if you could use that one piece of equipment to create music for the rest of your life and use that as your go-to, what would that be?
I'd like to pretend that that's a hard question, but it's the piano for sure.
Ironically, right? Like, go figure.
It's the piano, man.
Yeah, for me, growing up too on the piano, like I
You
hated
played
it.
growing up? Yeah.
I played growing up. Yeah, every Saturday and Wednesday, you know, would go there early Saturday mornings after school on Wednesdays. The only thing I remember from playing is the beginning of A Whole New World from Aladdin. The
Oh,
I can show you the world. Boom, boom, boom,
I don't
boom.
know how to play that song.
Like the first like 10 notes, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I can play those, and then people get intrigued because it's a very recognizable song, and then they go, oh, can you keep on playing? And I go, nope. All right, so let's look forward to 2022 for you, Didi plus Ping. What is on your vision board per se of where you see yourself going forward for the next year and then some?
Well, I'm starting this new. I want to start releasing DJ mixes, hour-long DJ mixes to everybody. And what I really want to do is this series, which I'm tentatively calling the Odyssey series right now, and it's where I go out with, you know, the equipment I need by myself into the wilderness. I set up and I do a solo DJ mix by myself in the wilderness for an hour.
That's one long extension cord, by the way. like just one.
Yeah. Well, that's I'm trying to figure out the best way to do it, but yeah, I think that's my big vision. You know.
Well, I mean, the sound alone of just playing off of the trees, I mean, can create something whole new for you that you probably haven't even tapped into yet. So
Exactly.
all right, so I know I'm going to step back in a few seconds. We're going to listen to some music too. So just give us a brief description of Buffalo Jump and what it's all about.
The Buffalo Jump I made. I just you know, it's that opera part of me.
Right.
And I just love the dramatic adventure, that sort of thing. And so that's what I was trying to capture with Buffalo Jump, specifically thousands of years ago. Before people ask me like, oh, it's before colonizers arrived, right? And when the indigenous were primarily here. I'm like, no, actually, it's before even that. That's what I imagined. Is
before
just,
the Oregon Trail.
Yeah, yeah. Before they arrived here, when it was just almost empty land besides the wild animals, and maybe the first Aboriginals had crossed the land bridge across the Arctic, I believe, into North America. Empty land, so it's like, where are we?
Well, it's interesting you describe it that way, because if you look at a band like Coldplay with, you know, My Universe, their idea is to look at what would music be like if we were on another planet. You know, that's their sound right now. And it's interesting that your take is almost like the opposite of it. Was what's the sound before that there was a sound, you know?
Yeah,
so
sure.
So tell us about Pathfinder.
Yeah, so Pathfinder is obviously similar vibe and similar idea. Maybe not as specific. It's, you know, Buffalo Jump is a specific area, specific time period, but Pathfinder is just what I imagine it must feel like to be a total trailblazer. You know, someone who maybe, like, for right now in the modern era,
Right?
Who would that be? That would be probably space explorers. They're probably the true
Jeff Bezos.
You know, in the most literal sense.
Yeah.
But obviously, we're all pathfinders in our own way. So it's just supposed to be a song that gives you that courage to just trailblaze in your life, whatever it is that you're exploring that's new to you. So that's kind of why I made that song. Yeah.
So as we sit in the Dunkin Latte Lounge and before we sit back and listen to some music too. So if you had the opportunity to shoot the ish with, anybody out there, alive, dead, fictional, whatever the case may be, and sip some Dunkin Lattes with and just pick their brain, who would that be?
It's got to be my grandpa.
All right. How come?
Yeah, we're just, I feel like we're on the same wavelength. Whenever we meet up, we always end up talking weird philosophy, and he's the only one that can keep up with me in terms of that, or throw me a loop, give me something that some perspective that I never thought of, and we just love like talking about that kind of stuff. And yeah, he's always up for it. So
does he bounce to the beat to the beat of your music at times?
He's not that musically inclined, to be honest. He's a scientist, so he's there are a lot of musician scientists out there, but he's not. So it's pretty funny watching him try and listen to the beat and capture the BPM, but he loves it. He appreciates my music and he loves listening to it, and that's all that matters.
All right. So again, thank you very much for hanging with us. So tell us all socials that if you're not following along, how people can follow along and just watch your journey.
Yeah. So all my socials are Didi plus Ping, just DIDI plus PLUS PING Ping. Everywhere.
How many times have you run into people for the first time and think you're a duo?
Oh, actually not that often. I was worried about that. Maybe, I think once, actually, come to think of it, only once. Yeah.
And that once was me. So
well, now you know.
I call myself out on that one. So, all right, Didi plus Ping.
You want to join, don't you?
Yeah. Well, yes. If you have an opening, and obviously you're more associated to the Ping, so
yeah.
Maybe Didi. I could be the Didi part, or the plus part. I'm a very good plus. I'm a very good plus one. All right. So hashtag Dunkin Latte Lounge to go back and watch all these interviews and even more too if you missed them. So Didi plus Ping. We'll sit back. I'll fade to black and listen to some music. Thank you for hanging with us.
Thank you.
To see more videos like this, check out DunkinLatteLounge.com. And if you're posting on social, use the hashtag DunkinLatteLounge.